In ancient Estonia, Christmas period was not just the 24th and 25th of December as it is right now. In fact, it actually started from the 21st of December, which is the St. Thomas's Day, and lasted till January the 6th. These 17 days were filled with some of the weird and crazy ancient rituals and traditions. Now, these traditions are not very common today, and they have mostly been lost to this modern age. But in this video, I want to share with you a few of the most interesting things that I found out while I was researching about Christmas in Estonia. Let's go. Number one, no work was allowed during this time. So as I mentioned, the Christmas period started on the 21st. So it was absolutely very, very important to do all the preparation in advance, which meant that all the food had to be cooked and prepared in advance, which were any number between 7 to 12 dishes because it was considered the right number for the Christmas time. All the cleaning had to be done in advance. And the most important thing for that time was that every family had to have their own storage of beer, which was an essential drink for every household. It had to be brewed in advance. Any work done during this period was supposed to bring bad luck. Now, interestingly, all borrowed items, like if you borrowed something from your neighbor, had to be returned during this time, and everything around your house, which were like the tools, they had to be brought inside and they had to be covered so they are not visible to the spirits. Number two, and that is the spirits of the ancestors and hosting them. So during the Christmas time, it was said that the ancestral spirits would visit the house. For this reason, after the cleaning, hay was put down on the floor so that there is no noise from the walking steps, because the spirits actually desired silence, because the spirits were definitely Estonian. People would prefer not to sleep on their beds because they were supposed to be used by the spirits, and people actually lied down on the hay and slept there. Food was also put out on the table, and it was not covered again because the spirits needed food as well. Light was also very important. It was important that all the rooms were lit up and really no light escaped the house. Interestingly, the underside of the bed always had to be dark along with the underside of the dining table because, I don't know, for some weird reason, they thought that spirits would be hiding there. Also, during the Christmas Eve and the New Year's Eve, it was advised to stay awake. If everybody couldn't stay awake, then family members would turn to be awake. Number three, and that is the Christmas goose. Now, one of the most interesting parts about Christmas time in ancient Estonia comes from West Estonian folklore, and that is the figure of the jouluhani, or the Christmas goose. The Christmas goose is a similar figure to other ancient Christmas figures such as Krampus from German folklore and the Yule goat from Scandinavian folklore. Christmas goose is something similar to that, but the tradition actually goes as follows. So during the Christmas time, one of the elders in the household would put on the costume of a goose with really elaborate feathers and a beak. Christmas goose would then carry a stick and follow children around, playfully striking them if they misbehave. The goose would also use their beak, and most of the time this whole thing would happen in a sauna. Now, interestingly, this whole purpose of this seemed to be like a playful way for children to have fun while, also reminding them to be disciplined. Of course, it was a time of vacations and fun, but that doesn't mean that you let go of your responsibilities, because in the ancient times, every person in the family had to fulfill a particular role. Number four, and then no women were allowed on New Year's Eve. Why is that? So according to the tradition, the identity of the first person that entered after the midnight on the new year was really, really important. This is not really just an Estonian belief, but it is actually prevalent across many European cultures and even ancient cultures, and it's commonly known as the first footing. Fun fact here is that the Asian countries like Turkey and Pakistan, the first person entering the shop at the start of the day is considered really, really important, and they have to buy something. Otherwise, the shopkeeper and the trader believe that the whole day would be filled with bad luck. That's actually a really good bargaining method that I have used in Turkey. So, going back to ancient Estonia. So, actually, who was the most important person that should come on the New Year's Eve? According to the legend, if a dark-haired and tall man enters, the whole year would be filled with prosperity and good luck. On the other hand, if a woman enters as the first visitor, it would bring bad luck. But the ancients had a way around it as well. So if a woman had to enter the house as a first visitor, she could put a men's trouser around her shoulders, and it would eliminate all the bad luck and preserve the good fortune of the house. Number 5, and that is salt in the well. What do I mean by that? So one thing to remember is that salt was a very rare commodity in ancient European cultures. Due to its use as a preservative for meat and other items, it was pretty much considered to have like magical properties. So much so that spilling salt was really considered bad luck, and to overcome the bad luck, you have to take a pinch of salt and throw it over your shoulder. Salt was even used as a form of currency. Fun fact here is that the word salary actually comes from the Latin word salarium, which refers to the payments made to Roman soldiers, which were often in the form of salt. So that said, same actually went for ancient Estonians as well. So naturally, salt would have to be a very important part of this special time of the year. So during the preparations and cleaning for the Christmas holidays, as I mentioned in the first point, salt was sprinkled in rooms. But the most important ceremony was actually held on the New Year's Day. The head of the household would take a fistful of salt, which is quite a lot, and then throw it into the well. Then water would be drawn into a bowl. The bowl had a knife and a silver object at the bottom, and then starting with the eldest person, everybody would wash their faces. And apparently this whole ritual was meant to prevent them from illness and misfortune during the whole new year. So there you have it. Like, these are like 5 weird and crazy ancient Christmas customs that you might not have known. Currently, Christmas in Estonia is an interesting thing, and let me know which country should I talk about next. And also let me know in the comments if there is anything interesting about Christmas in Estonia in ancient times that you would like me to know. I wish you all a very, very lovely Christmas. Haidjule, and take care.